यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. Om Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Devestavaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatina Manasa Pasyanti Yam Yoginaha Vishantam Suradana Devaya Tasmai Partha Sarathi Rupena Shravahitva Shubhangiram Parthasyaarti Haro Devaha Krupamurti Sapatunaha. Let us chant from verse number 10, 11, 12, 13. Page number 28. Yatha sarvagatam saukshmyat akasham nopalipyate tathatmanopalipyate na tadbhasayate suryaha na shashanko na pavakaha yadgatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama avyaktokshara ityuktaha tamahuh paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama nirmanamohajita sangadoshaha adhyatmanitya vinivrittakamaha gacchantyamoodhaः padamavyayam tata. After having given the self-knowledge that the Supreme Lord exists in each and every one of us as the very self in us, to put an end to all sorrows, hold on to the Lord, who is the very self. He is the only reality of this world. He is the only thing which is imperishable. He is like that infinite space. He is the light of consciousness. He is the supreme abode, reaching where there is no return. How does spiritual knowledge put an end to your samsara? What spiritual knowledge does is, it puts an end to the ego. And once the ego is gone, all sufferings are gone, all sorrows are gone. The root cause of all our suffering is the ego. And spiritual knowledge puts an end to this ego. So what happens? When does this ego go? Adhyatma nityaha. Through constant practice. Spiritual practice must become the main, the main activity of life. Everything should revolve around spiritual activity. For spiritual progress, I perform my duties. For spiritual progress, I fulfill all the responsibilities which the world imposes on me. So keeping this spiritual goal in mind, giving it the highest priority, when we live, what happens? Mana goes away, ego goes away. And with the ego, what all things go away? Moha goes away, Sangha goes away, Kama goes away, Dvandva also goes away. Everything goes. It is like a chess game. What is it that you should do in chess? The opponent's king has to be killed or conquered, isn't it? You don't have to pay attention to all so many other coins. The whole game is progressing because the ego, what is that ego? The king is there. So focus on that king, finish him, and then the game is over. Killing the ego is equivalent to killing everything else. Just like killing the king in the chess is equal to killing all the other enemies. So now the question comes, Bhagavan, you said Adhyatma Nitya, spiritual practice, but what do you mean by this spiritual practice? Because there are thousands of spiritual practices available. Some say do japa, some say do bhajan, some say do puja, some are more into karmakanda. Varieties of spiritual practices. What is it that you want us to do in the beginning? How should we proceed? So that question is answered in the next verse. Verse number 14, page 37. Yashastra vidhimutsrajya vartate kamakaratah na sa siddhimavapnoti na sukham na param gatim yashastra vidhimutsrajya vartate kamakaratah na sa siddhimavapnoti na sukham na param gatim. The first thing to be done is study the scriptures. Just like if you want to go somewhere, what is the first thing you do? You get the map, isn't it? Where should I go? How long is the distance? What are the ways I can go? The entire map should be there. And what is that map which shows the spiritual destination? That map is nothing but our scriptures, which clearly guides us to the destination. What is the destination? What is the path to be followed? What are the dangers in the path? How to overcome them? Everything is mentioned in our scriptures. So first of all, a clear understanding of our scriptures is pointed out. What happens if you don't follow the scriptures is pointed out here. Yaha shastra vidhim utsrajya. That person who has given up the shastra vidhi. Vidhi means the injunctions. Injunctions means what? Do this, don't do this. Vidhi nisheda. The rights and wrongs, the do's and don'ts. That person who gives up this shastra vidhi, the injunctions of the scriptures, then what is he doing? Vartate kamakaratah. Lives a licentious life. Indulgent life. Kamakarta means I like it, therefore I do it. Whatever I like, I do. Whatever I don't like, I will not do. This is called kamakaratah vartate. According to your whims and fancies, according to your vasanas, according to your inclination, according to your samskara, not bothering about dharma. A person who lives such a licentious life, what happens to him? Nasa siddhim avapnoti. There is no question of attaining siddhi. Siddhi means perfection. Siddhi means success. There is no question of attaining perfection. Meaning, there is no question of attaining moksha. Forget about moksha. Na sukham. Even in this world, he can never be happy. A person who lives an indisciplined life, not at all bothered about the scriptural teachings. Scriptures are considered to be the manual of right living. Such a person, forget about moksha. That is too far away for him. Even in this world, there is no question of happiness. Meaning, material happiness also he won't get. Na param gating. After death, there is no ūrdhvagati. To some good world, that is also not there. Here also suffering, after death also suffering. Suffering continues. So therefore, what is implied? Tasma shastram pramanam te. That is verse is not here. It is in Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter. Tasma shastram pramanam te karya vyavasthitau jñātvā shastra vidhanoktam karma kartum iha arhasi. Therefore, tasmat shastram pramanam te. May scriptures be your authority in deciding karya akarya vyavasthitau, in deciding what is karya and what is akarya, what should be done, what should not be done. May scriptures be the guiding light. Then, after knowing the injunctions of the scriptures, jñātvā shastra vidhana uktam, having gained the right knowledge, karma kartum iha arhasi, you must perform actions. So whole of our life should be guided by the Shastras. So the Shastra is called as a manual of right living. So this body is a very, very complicated, the most complicated instrument is this body. And equally complicated is this world. So you are supposed to use a complicated BMI in a complicated world. So suppose you say, I don't care about manual. When you have a complicated device with you, what is the first thing you do? You have purchased a new device, some mobile phone or whatever. You don't know how to operate it. Sometimes you don't even know how to switch on. So what do you do? Read the manual, it comes along with it. So instructions are given, how to switch on, how to switch off, how to take call, how to cut off call, whatever. Very many times these old people, they bring some hi-fi mobile phones in the satsang. It is ringing. Everybody is looking at that person. That person is also miserable, but doesn't know how to doesn't know how to switch off or put in silent mode or whatever. So sometimes what they do is they keep it in the hand. They know once again the call will come. Immediately. Misery. What I am trying to say is, when you don't know how to operate a device, you are miserable. If this is true with little things of the world, what to talk of the most important thing? The body, the mind, the intellect, how to use it, how to live in this world, how to interact with the world. Even with little things you take care, isn't it? First you should know the property of the thing, then only you will be able to use the thing and protect the thing. For example, suppose you have to use cloth. You must know the property of the cloth. What is it? Don't keep it near fire. You should know. Only then you will be able to use it properly. Whatever you are using, you first learn the property and then you use. Isn't it? If this is true with all these things, what to talk of this instrument? In every situation you have to handle the situation with this instrument. So therefore a clear understanding is necessary. And how do you get that understanding? God, along with the creation, has given this user's manual also. Read it, understand it, and live your life. Then what are the benefits? You will get siddhi, you will get sukham, and you will get paramgati. Even if you don't get moksha, doesn't matter. Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. One who is on the path, he has not achieved moksha, doesn't matter. What is that verse? After death what happens? Prapya punyakritam lokan ushitva shashvati samaha shuchinam srimatam gehe yoga bhrashto bhijayate. So even if you have not attained moksha in this birth, if that is the case, don't worry. After death, because you have done so much of punya, because you have been following the scriptures, because your mind is sattvic, lot of sadhana has been done, nothing goes as a waste. What happens? After death you go to some higher worlds. Prapya punyakritam lokan. What kind of world? The world attained by the people who have done lot of punyas. You go to such worlds. Ushitva shashvati sama. For long time you remain there, enjoying all the comforts, peace, etc. And then after that, Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashtaha Abhijayate. When you take birth, where do you take birth? Not in some uncultured family. You take birth in a very cultured family, in a prosperous family, in an educated family, in a spiritually centered family. You take birth, Suchinam Srimatam Gehe. So what is happening? So nothing is going as a waste. So all this is possible when we live the injunctions of the scriptures. So when we take up the journey, the first thing is have a clear understanding of what I should do with my life. How I should take it forward. What does the scriptures expect from me? What does God expect from me? What is the right way of living? Gain a clear knowledge and then start walking the path. In this world also that's what we do, isn't it? First you see and then you walk. You don't walk with closed eyes. What do? You open the eyes, you gain the knowledge, you gain the direction and then you walk. If this is true with the worldly things, it must be true with spirituality also. First step is gain right understanding. Now, what is the essence of the message of the scriptures? After study of the scriptures, this much you must understand. What is the minimum thing you must understand? What is the essence of the scriptures which you must understand after the study? Next verse. Verse number 15, 39 page. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu Tishthantam parameshwaram Vinashyatsva vinashyantam Yaf pashyati sa pashyati Samam sarveshu bhuteshu. Yes, after all the study of the scriptures, this is the fundamental understanding you must have. What is the understanding? Samam sarveshu bhuteshu, in all the beings, Parameshwaram Tishthantam, that Supreme Lord is there. That Supreme Lord, Parama Ishvara, He resides in the heart of all beings. How? Samam, equally. There is no gradation. That Lord resides in the hearts of all equally. And what is that nature of the Lord? Vinashyatsu avinashyantam. What is the nature of the Lord? He is avinashi, indestructible, imperishable. Vinashyatsu, amidst perishable things, He resides, remaining imperishable. So what are the vinashyatsu? Vinashyatsu means amidst perishing. What are the perishing things? The body, the world, everything. So the whole world which is constantly perishing, constantly changing, there is something which is changeless. Avinashyantam. And what is that changeless thing? That Parameshwara, that Supreme Lord, which is the Self. And that very same Self is there in the hearts of all. This is the understanding which you must have after the study of the scriptures. Meaning what? You must have the knowledge of Kshetra and Kshetrajña. This is the essential message of the scriptures. Bhagwan, I have a doubt. I understand the scripture. I understand that there is Bhagwan also. Now you say, Yaf pashyati sa pashyati. The one who sees, he alone sees. But how to see that Bhagwan? Intellectual understanding is fine. I have understood. I have studied also. I understand there is a God. I understand He is the Self. I understand He is imperishable. But how to see? You said, Yaf pashyati, no? I want to see. How to see? After understanding, what should I do? Next verse. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakyah ahamevam vidhorjuna jñātum drashtum ca tattvena praveshtum ca parantapa bhaktya tvananyaya shakyah ahamevam vidhorjuna. Yes, after gaining an intellectual understanding, which is a must, after gaining an intellectual understanding through the study of the scriptures, what is the next step? Now may you desire to really experience His presence in one's own heart. And what is the means to experience? Bhagavan says, bhaktya, through bhakti. But what kind of bhakti? To ananyaya, with Ananya-Bhakti. With Ananya-Bhakti, aham jñātum shakyah, you can know me. Ananya-Bhakti means what? Single-pointed devotion. You can know me. In which way? In this way. Evam vidha. Evam vidha means what? Me as the very self in you. You can really know me. Not only know me. Jñātum drashtum tattvena praveshtum. You can know me. Jñātum. Drashtum. You can see me. Tattvena praveshtum. You can enter into me. In truth, into my real nature. You can know me, you can see me, and you can become one with me in reality. It is possible. It is not some imagination. It is possible. But what is the means? Ananyaya bhaktya. So after study of the scriptures, what should you do? Develop devotion for God. Remember, who is telling this? Bhagavan is telling this. Bhagavān Ramana Maharshi has put it in this order. Remember that. Very many times we see Bhagavān Ramana Maharshi as only a person. Who am I? Who am I? Where is this I coming from? And very many people don't understand what is he doing. Who is asking this question? Remember, Bhagavān Ramana Maharshi was first a bhakta. Then he became a Jñānī. The entry point is not Jnanam. Entry point is Bhakti. Never forget this. Never forget this. If you bypass this and try to do Vedantic meditation, I am consciousness, who is witnessing the thought? Let me see which thought. Remaining as consciousness, using big words of Vedanta. Drik, drishya viveka. Let me see who is that drishya. Trying to abide in consciousness, nothing will happen. You will go into sleep. That benefit you will get. You will get a fresh. Tamas will freshen you up, not the sattva. Understand? First step is bhakti. Now the question is how to develop bhakti. That is not told here. Some time we should spend there. This is also a question. How to develop bhakti? In fact, developing bhakti is very, very simple. What is bhakti? It is love, isn't it? So bhakti means what? Loving God. Now keep one thing very clearly in mind. You cannot love a stranger. Point number 1. Can you love a stranger? You just cannot do it. Point number 2. You cannot love someone who doesn't love you. So what is the best way of loving God? The best way of loving God is to realize that He loves you very much. This is the first step. When you realize that there is a Lord who loves you infinitely, unconditionally, totally, He loves you as though you are the only one in the entire planet. That's what Saint Augustine said. Beautiful statement. He loves each and every one of us as though we are the only child. When you come to realize this great truth, that somebody is loving you unconditionally, without expecting anything in return, what happens to you? You cannot but give love in return. So these fundamental principles should be very clear. How to develop this bhakti then? Just pay attention to the realities of life. How the Lord is taking care of you. How does a small newborn baby develops love for its mother? Take the worldly example. Now there it will be Matru-bhakti. Try to understand Matru-bhakti, then you will easily understand what is Ishvara-bhakti. So how does this child develop love for its mother? When the child is born, the child doesn't know who is my mother, but the mother knows who is my child. So constantly from one end, the mother is going on loving the child. And what is the expression of that love? Whenever the child is in trouble, whenever the child is in pain, whenever the child is suffering, this little kid sees there is this lady coming and running. She acts as though my pain is her pain. And whenever she comes and goes, I am relieved of my pain. This much the child observes. Yes or no? Beginning, as far as the child is concerned, this lady was a stranger. But slowly, as the days passed by, this child observed one thing. Number 1, I am full of limitation. There are a lot of pains and sufferings, lot of problems. The child suffers. But whenever there is suffering, whenever I cry out of helplessness, because I don't know how to solve this problem, and therefore the only strength I have is Balanam Rodanam Balam. Crying is the greatest strength of the child. Whenever I cry, this lady comes running. And then she does something. After that, I am free from my pain. Not once, not twice, but very many times this is happening. Slowly the child understands one thing. What? This lady loves me unconditionally. She is really bothered about me. She is concerned about me. My pain, she takes it as her pain. And moreover, she knows everything. Because whenever she comes, she solves the problem. What does it mean? She knows the solution to the problem. Within a few days, a time comes when the child is the happiest when mother is around. Isn't it? The child sitting in the lap of the mother, happiest. Why? I am with someone who will never leave me. I am with someone who knows the solution to all my problems. I need not know, but she knows. That is enough. Her knowledge is as though my knowledge. Are you able to understand? I am living in a totally strange world. I don't know anything about the world, but I know one thing, that there is someone with me who will take care of me. And what is the end result? This child, which is totally ignorant about the worldly happenings, the worldly activities, the worldly norms, the child doesn't know anything, but the child is happy. Who is the happiest one in this world? The child sitting in the lap of the mother. Yes or no? The child knows only one thing. I am with someone who loves me. I am with someone who takes care of me, who knows the solution to all my problems. This one knowledge is enough. This is Matru-bhakti. Now the same thing applies to our life also. What is the first thing to know? Bhagavān, I have lot of problems. Point number 1. Is there anyone with no problems? This is the first qualification. Number 2, lot of problems are there and I have no idea about the solutions. Number 3, I know somebody who knows the solution. Number 4, that somebody is within my reach. I can contact. I can take my problems. If this much basic information is there, then you have to just work on it. And how do you work on it? Take your problems to Him. Let Him solve the problems for you. This is called a Sharanagati. Bhagwan, I don't know the solution. I am told that you know the solution. This is what the scriptures say at least. Pitahamasya jagato mata dhata pitama. I am the father and mother of this universe. This is what the scriptures say. And I have trust. I believe in it. So therefore, as a normal child who doesn't know how to solve the problem, so the child has to, where should the child take the problem? To the mother, to the father. So in the same way, I bring this problem to you. So what is it you have to do? Take the problems to Lord. Watch carefully. Is your problems getting solved? Are you getting answers to your questions? Observe. Remember, this little child also tests its mother. It's not that Matru-bhakti has just like that come. No, the testing is there. Similarly, test God. Very many promises God has given. Name bhakta pranashyati. It's a promise. My devotee shall never perish. Machitta sarvadurgani mat prasadat tarishyasi. By my grace you will overcome all problems. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate. Tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam bhavana. I take care of the yogakshema of my devotees. These are all the promises. The Supreme Lord has given so many promises. You test whether He fulfills this promise or not. How do you test? Take the problem, go to him, see whether he solves it. You will find mysteriously your problems are solved. It is solved in such a beautiful way, you can't even imagine. Now what happens when you take the problems to God? Number one, you get the best solution. Number two, when again and again you see in life this happening, whenever I am in trouble, whenever I take this trouble to him, he solves it, puts me in a better position, relieves me of all my sufferings, pains, disturbances, anxieties, worries. Again and again when you see, slowly what happens? Your faith in God increases. Because results are consistent. Every time I went with a problem, every time I got a better solution, the best solution. So seeing this consistency, slowly what happens to your faith? Increases. What happens to your love for God? Increases. What happens to your devotion? Increases. What happens to the relationship? It starts increasing. And your time comes when you know, even when the problem comes, you face those problems smilingly, because maybe I don't know the solution, but there is somebody with me who knows the solution. So you are not scared. You understand? This relationship becomes so strong to such an extent that it should become Ananya-Bhakti. What is Ananya-Bhakti? The moment you see the problem, your mind goes only to one place. Your mind doesn't go to so many places. Should I go to this person or that person or this place? No, I have only one place to go. This is called Ananya-Bhakti. Ashraya Buddhi should be only in one place. Yes, your problems are solved through so many people, etc. But in and through these people, what you should see? The hidden hand of God functioning. You are thanking the person, but actually through him, you are thanking God. I know this person is only an instrument, but my problems are solved through him who has sent this person to solve my problem. So every time your pointer, the compass, is directed towards God. That this is called Ananya-Bhakti. Bhagavan says, if you have this bhakti, then you can see me, you can experience me, you can become one with me. More of it we will see tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.